I've set my Zenith chassis aside, and hopefully I'm going to be able to locate the parts I need for it. I want to get both a yoke and a flyback for that Zenith, but for now I thought I'd take this 1947 Stromberg Carlson apart, not to necessarily do any restore on it for now, but I primarily wanted to take it apart because I knew that the inductor roller tuner shaft was broken. And you see I took it out. I've got it out of here. Here's the chassis. You can see that the CRT is going to have to be recoated. Other than that, it's dirty and it looks pretty restorable. I've already tested the CRT, so I know the CRT has good cutoff and it's got good emissions, so that CRT should display a fairly decent picture. I don't know about the eye tube. We'll have to see what goes on with that. Bob Anderson had a very nice video on one that he had rebuilt. His was a Dumont. This is a Stromberg Carlson. It's a Dumont clone, actually. I think an RA103 clone. But he explained how that eye tube works and what he had to do to get it to work properly. I suppose I'll go through the same thing. But my primary reason for taking this apart for now was to get that inductor or roller shaft out of there to see if I can mend it. And I'll show you what that looks like, but I have doubts that I'm going to be able to mend it to where it isn't going to break again. We'll see. But I'm going to put the chassis back in the cabinet for now, because I don't want to really get involved in trying to restore this yet. I figure I'll see if I can fix the inductor roller shaft, and then maybe I'll take the CRT out of it sometime in the future and recoat it. So I've got this roller inductor shaft out of the Stromberg Carlson TV that I one day hope to restore, and as you can see, it's broken right here. Goes together somewhat like this, and how it works is on either side of these three coils you have a contact plate that there's a brush that goes against these plates. There's actually on both sides, there's a brush on both sides. And then down below you've got another contact with a slider that, as this rotates, the slider screws one way or the other, and actually what it's doing is it's tuning this inductor to either one side or the other side, and that's how it tunes. And you got three. 1, 2, 3. One is for FM, one is for the low end, the low band of the VHF frequencies, and then the next one is the high band of the VHF frequencies. I'm trying to remember where the split is. I think channel 6 or channel 7, somewhere in there, there's where the split is. But anyways, you have FM, low VHF band, high VHF band, and then, like I say, there's a slider. This is a rotating inductor, and there's a slider that travels up and down. You've got a contact on either end, and you've got a contact in the middle tuning up and down. And then of course this goes out through the front, and there's a crank, and you crank this whole thing, and there's several revolutions before the contacts get to one end or the other. Now this this is ingenious how this thing works. Right now it can't turn any further, but how this works is you start rotating like so. You're turning the crank, and as it's going around, you see it's catching these little tabs and it's working its way. So this only allows you to rotate this around so many times. So we're getting closer and closer and closer, and we keep rotating, and that's it. We're stopped. That's as many rotations as this mechanism will allow. This is an ingenious design. I believe Dumont Labs invented this. Very, very ingenious. See this one ball bearing right here? Actually, the ball bearings go in this raceway here. There are several of them missing. I don't know if they're in the set or where they are, but when this thing broke, of course, things flopped around, and you could it's probably still inside the tuner if I go in there and look. Now, what choices do I have here? I've got a choice of trying to epoxy this back together, but as you can see how this thing works, if you don't get this absolutely straight to where when you rotate it, this doesn't wobble, if you get it just off enough, this thing is never going to work right, and also is probably going to easily break the epoxy mend there. So I don't know how good that's going to work. I had thought about maybe building a jig, maybe either using a drill press, which I don't have, but some kind, or even a jeweler's lathe or a lathe, to get these to where they are actually both in the same plane, and then epoxy these together so that they are absolutely straight. There's a straight line from here to here. Another thought that I have is to just go inside, position this and fasten it in, and just tune these inductors to one frequency, not damaging it, so that this can be put back exactly the way it's supposed to go. And then someday when a part like this comes along, it can be fixed to work the way it was built. But just to pre-tune it, and then just put this back in somehow so that it looks like it's all there, but it actually doesn't function. I don't know how I'm going to go about repairing this. I really don't think the epoxy repair is going to work. I can't see how that's going to work. It's too close to this side. This is a brush plate here. If you get any epoxy that's sticking out, it's going to catch. So I really don't think I can actually repair this with epoxy. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the first part of this video, I made it all the way back in January, and now depending on what comes out of this box will tell the rest of the story, is how far I can go with the Stromberg Carlson 1947 TV. And hopefully what's in this box that I just bought from eBay, it was just delivered yesterday. I just by chance came across it listed on eBay. So, very well packed. Lots of peanuts, popcorn and Cracker Jack, bubble plastic, and I didn't get this real cheap, but I didn't expect to. Okay, this getting closer. Now, the object, of course, is to unpackage this without damaging what's inside, because what's inside can be somewhat fragile, and I'm certainly hoping this is what I'm looking for the Stromberg Carlson TV that I started off, or at least looked at, all the way back this past January. Okay, well, my batteries ran out in this wonderful camera. I have got to get myself another camera, and definitely not a Sony. I'll never get another Sony camera. I'm going to get something of a little bit better quality. I do have a good video camera. It's a Canon Vixia camera, but I use that for recording music, and I haven't done that in a long time. And it makes MTS files, which are difficult, I think, to deal with. But anyways, I'm hoping that this Mallory Induct Tuner will be the replacement I need for my 1947 Stromberg Carlson TV. I believe this tuner is good. It turns fine, meaning that the porcelain shaft is not broken. I don't know how many different types of 1947 induct tuners were made, but this one sure looks like the one that goes in my Stromberg Carlson. And I just bought this on eBay just this past Friday. The guy shipped it out. I had it yesterday already. Isn't that amazing? But it looks to be in very good shape. I'm not quite sure if this dial is exactly right, but let's put it this way, I'm hoping for the best, because without this, I don't know how I could have restored that Stromberg Carlson TV other than to put direct audio and video inputs into the TV, and I would really rather have a working tuner in it if possible. And so here we are. Like I say, and it was very well packaged, very fast shipping from an eBay seller. I didn't get it real cheap, but it wasn't very expensive. So I guess what more can you ask for? So until the next chapter, this is as far as I'm going to get with the Stromberg Carlson TV-12 from 1947.